Assalamu alaikum. I am Amna Haider, lecturer, Institute of Business Studies. I'm here with the course titled Business Research Method. This is lecture number 7, and the topic that we will be discussing today is theoretical framework. These are actually the topics that we are going to cover in this session. Objectives includes we have to define the theoretical framework, and in this session we have to understand the role that the theoretical framework play in the research process. So moving towards the definition, what is theoretical framework? Theoretical framework represent your beliefs on how certain phenomena are related to each other and an explanation on why you believe that these variables are associated to each other. Now, understanding this definition, theoretical framework, it actually creates the boundary for your research, like a foundation. Just as a foundation supports the house, theoretical framework is the foundation on which the entire research is carried out. So it plays an important role in guiding the research process of the study. Explaining it in more simple words, we take the word theoretical. Theoretical actually means the proposed way of thinking about a problem. So theoretical framework representing the path of the research. Framework. What does framework means? Framework is actually the structure of your study. Like, think of the skeleton of the body. Having a skeleton, one can construct the body as a model, which is representing the human body. So basically, theoretical framework helps you answer two questions. What is your research problem? And second, why your research approach is a feasible solution. So theoretical framework serves two purposes. It shows how your research fits into what is already known. That is, think of a riddle. How that riddle fits into what is already known, that is the existing literature. And it also shows that how your research makes a contribution on the topic to the field. You need to advance the theory. You need to bring a significance to already existing literature with the help of your study. So, understanding theoretical framework, let us think about it in terms of human beings. Think for a moment that what is the belief about the nature of human beings? Do you believe that they are mainly good? Some would be actually believing that human being nature is actually a lazy one. Someone would be actually believing that human beings are actually untrustworthy. So everyone has their own belief about the nature of human beings, and that belief actually guides that how you interact with other people. Same goes with theoretical framework. Theoretical framework helps your study. It helps you organize your ideas It helps you organize your question. It helps you organize your methodology. So, we would be now discussing the features of theoretical framework. The variables influencing the research problem should be clearly defined, discussed, and explained. Now, see, a theoretical framework would be providing a rationale for predicting about the relationship among variables of the study. For example, if a relationship is found between two variables, for example, age and choice of product, a theory should be formulated to explain why the relationship exists. So like the first feature is saying that you have to define, you have to discuss the variables that you are using in your study. For example, age, you have to define it, you have to explain it, what is meant by age in your study. For example, if you are taking income and saving as variables, you need to define it, you need to clarify it for your reader. The second feature is the discussion should highlight the relationship between variables. That relationship could be a positive relationship, and that relationship could be a negative relationship. For example, with the increase in income, with the increase in one variable, that is income, the saving also increases. So a positive relationship exists between variables. So a relationship could be a positive one and a relationship could be a negative one. A model depicting the relationship among variables can be given so that the concept can be visualized and they could be understood by the reader. You have to explain through a model the relationship that actually exists between the variables that you are using in your study. Earlier we used the word theory. See, the theory, we said that the theory would be formulated to explain the relationship that exists between variables. So what is that theory? Theory is actually not a guess, it's actually not your belief. Like in everyday life, we often do say that it's just a theory. For example, I believe that COVID-19 is actually a biological weapon. That might be my own belief, but in research, theory need to have some empirical evidences for it, right? You need to have some empirical evidence to support your theory. You cannot just make a guess, you cannot just say that I believe on it. You need some evidences for it. A theory in a qualitative study is used inductively. Inductive approach we already discussed in our class, but I would recap it again, that when we make broader generalization from specific organization, so we are moving from specific observation towards generalization, that is inductive approach. I hope you would be remembering it. We discussed it in our class. And theory in quantitative study used deductive approach. For example, we start with general statement. We start with general statement or hypothesis, and then we examine the possibility to reach the possible logical conclusion. So, in deductive approach, we are moving from general to specific statements. So we would be moving towards the theoretical framework and the research process. Now we would be summarizing actually that how a theoretical framework is formulated. When you are going towards a research, for example, you want to conduct a research, then first what you need to do is you have to define the domain of your study, right? Domain of the study actually means that the discipline you will be working in. For example, domain of your study could be creative advertisement. Domain of your study could be gender discrimination. It could be workplace issues. After choosing the domain of your study, then you would be moving towards the literature review. You will be examining the literature in that area, your current articles, the old articles. The more you study the current articles, the more you will know the problem, the critical problem that are under discussion. So, from the literature review, you would be moving towards your research gap. So, as you study the kind of problems under study, you will try to find what your study own problem would have to be. That problem that you want to look at it, okay? Then you need to define your theoretical framework. From there, you define your theoretical framework. It is the part that will actually help you decide not only on the methodology that you will be studying, but it would also help you to how you would be studying it. Not only the methodology, but how you would be studying it. So it actually explain theoretical framework would actually explaining the entire methodology of it, the entire process of it, the variables, their relationship with each other. So that's how it is. This is your reference book that I used for this session. You can also go through it and take a guideline from this book. Thank you for the day. Thank you for listening.